Assignment 4. Here you are going to be doing some descriptive statistics where you will look at the GDP growth rate by industry. You will basically calculate the descriptive statistics like mean, median, and so on. And also you are going to create 4 distinct charts. These are charts that will either show the distribution of GDP growth rate or it's going to be showing the trend. You will do the same for unemployment rate, and finally you will calculate the correlation coefficient between GDP growth rate and unemployment rate. So this is just a number that helps you compute how related they are. This number generally varies between -1 and +1. 0 means there's no relationship. -1 means you have a perfect negative correlation. So when one is going up, the other is going down. And +1 means they all move perfectly in the same direction. Now, you will not just compute that coefficient, but you will also generate a combo chart that shows the relationship between these two indicators. And finally, you will basically summarize the findings you have here and give the relevance to that for policymakers and business leaders, assuming you will become business leaders and policymakers. Then you will put it on a Word document as you have been doing. Just make sure it looks really clean, because this is how I'm going to grade it: the accuracy of your calculations and the clarity of the charts. You want to make sure your charts are well labeled, they are clean, and you put them appropriately on your document. So you have the one for GDP, you have the one for unemployment, you have the relationship, and you explain the relationship. You explain what you are seeing. Okay? So this is basically how we are going to do it. Remember, this is a 5% exercise, and this will build. The summative assessment will not be too different from this. You will just have a bit more work to do, because I will not just give you 2 variables, you will have much more than that. Now the data has already been cleaned and arranged. You will find it on layer, and I've already opened it here. So I'm going to show you how to do the analysis. I won't do exactly what you need to do, but I will guide you in this video. So if you look at the first instruction, it talks of you doing the descriptive statistics. Now that's very easy to do. You just need to go to your data. If I click on data, I had shown you in, I think it's activity 8, how to make sure you have the data analysis add-on on your Excel. So if you don't know how to get the data analysis add-on, take a look at the video for activity 8. So I'm going to click there and then I'll click on data analysis. Okay. Then I will click on this upward arrow. I will make sure I select everything, the titles for data for unemployment and GDP. It's very important to select the title. I'll just drag and go all the way down. Your data set is not too long, so that's fine. Make sure you do not select empty spaces. I'll stop there. I'll come and click this drop down arrow to go back. And then, yes, it is by columns. I'll leave it as the default. I have to check this because I selected the labels in the first row. I am interested in my summary statistics, and I want it to place it in a new worksheet. Here we have one worksheet. I want it to create a second worksheet and then place the results in it. I'll say okay. And now we have a second worksheet. If I come between A and B and double click between B and C, between C and D, and between D and the other, and right now you can see for unemployment rate, you can see how it looks like. You have the mean, standard error, median, mode, and so on. So you have all the descriptive statistics, blah, blah, blah here for unemployment rate. Now it's important for you to be able to interpret the most important ones. You don't have to interpret everything, but try to interpret the most important ones. Do the same for GDP growth rate. This is just telling you there is no mode, there is no one number that appears most frequently. Remember, the mode is just the number that appears most frequently. So that's what it is. So you are done with the descriptive stats. So if you come here, you'll see that the descriptive and the descriptive, just that one thing does it for you. All you need to do is to be able to interpret it. If you have any difficulties interpreting any of the numbers, go online. If you want to be inspired, you can as well use ChatGPT. And then let's take a look at the charts. For you to generate 4 distinct charts, that's really not complicated. I'll click here and go back on sheet 1. So if you want to create a particular chart, I want to create a chart, let's say for unemployment. I'm going to select just this. Okay, let's say if I go to insert and I'm taking a look at the different charts which are available. For example, I want to generate, let me make sure that my thing is not freezing. Okay, I hope it doesn't freeze and mess up the video. Okay, fine. So if you want to generate, for example, a box and whisker, all you need to do is just to select this. Okay, so that's the first chart I will generate. I'll select that. I'll go to insert. I'm going to go there and then click here, and here I have my chart. Okay, just make sure you know how to interpret it. We covered this in class. Give the right title for your chart and whatsoever. So that's one for unemployment rate. Do the same for GDP. And then if you want to generate a completely different chart from this, you can as well. So if I come back here, I can as well go to insert again and look for another chart. For example, you have the time series chart. You can take the time series chart to see how things did. However, the problem is that the time series chart, you need to do it with date. You cannot just do it in isolation. So the charts you can do in isolation. You do the box plot, and you can also do I think it's the histogram. Let's take a look at so if you have doubts, you can click on recommended charts. It's going to show you the charts it recommends. Okay, take recommended charts. However, just be careful. Do not use this one without date. A chart like this, if you do not have date, then it is not correct. If you just have numbers, that will be wrong. So you want to use the right chart. So you can take this one, for example. The histogram is a chart you can use in isolation, and just you can use the histogram, or you can use the Pareto chart, which is the histogram and the cumulative relative frequency here. Okay, so it's a combination of two charts. Just make sure you are able to interpret them. If you cannot interpret a chart, do not use it. If you go on ChatGPT or you contact me, I will explain how to interpret it. So here you have the different classes, and you can see how frequently something occurs in this class. So if I take this, for example, and I say okay, then we have a completely different chart. Okay, now if you want to look at charts involving this and that, you can just select both of them. So if you select both of them, you can go to insert, and then you can take something like the time. Okay, now you can see that it's there with dates, and yeah, so play around with that. Look for charts which make sense and put them together and try to interpret it. So this shows the distribution. This shows the trend, for example. And if you want, you can go and look for others. So do the same for GDP growth rate. If you click here, it will select GDP growth rate. You can go to insert and you insert whatever you want for that. And you can go again to insert, and now this time maybe you can take that one. You can see the distribution for GDP growth rate is very different. It's different from the distribution of unemployment. Okay, here unemployment, you see how it looks. Here you can see that it really looks, it simulates the normal distribution. However, this is a very different type of distribution. So you can do that. And when you want to select the growth rate and date, just select this, then hold Control key. For those using Mac, the hold down Command key, do not let it go, and click here on date, then release the Control key. Then you can come now and choose this. Now, you just have to make sure it does the right thing. If it doesn't do the right thing, then you just start all over again. Okay? At times, it misunderstands. It doesn't understand. You want to send that where you have date. Or you can do that. You can. Okay, here it's even selecting beyond what you want. Okay, you always have to make sure it does exactly what you want. So you have different possibilities. You can as well do that. Come now here, right click, go to format the axis, or go to select data. You can go to select data and then change the data for that axis. Okay, so if I come and click here on edit, now I can click this drop down and it enables me to come and select the data I have here, so that I can get rid of those numbers. Let's just hope it works with no problem. And let's uncheck this thing. We don't want date. Date is not a, yeah, that's okay. And do okay. Where is the chart? The chart. Okay, now it worked. You can see you've changed it. Now you have date. But we have a problem because it entered date as a value. We don't want date as a value. So I will right click again, select data and uncheck date. Okay. Now you have your data. It looks good. So the last thing you want to do is, I'll just show you how to do this part, which is the QL and the combo chart. So for the QL, you'll just do your equal QL. I'll hit tab and you select the first. It doesn't matter what you select as the first one. You put a comma and then you go and select the second one. Once you've done that, you can now close your parentheses and hit enter. So here you have your correlation coefficient, and I told you it varies between -1 and 1. So here you can clearly see there's a negative relationship between those two. In other words, when one goes up, the other goes down. It's not perfect, but it's pretty strong. Well, it's about 60%. Now let's look at the combo chart. Let me move this one here. For you to do your combo chart, let's just click anywhere inside of this. You can go to insert and we can just click here to make sure it opens everything. We want all charts, and I'll click on combo chart, combo. Now the combo does a good job of really recognizing things so that you don't have to manipulate lots of things. Now for my unemployment rate, so this is what it suggests. I want to use line charts. So for unemployment rate, I will say use line and make it the secondary axis. Very important, make it secondary axis. Now this one, let it be line, but do not make it secondary so that it will be primary and your chart will look like that. Let's OK. And you can increase the size, you can adjust it. Now it's important for you to go to chart design and increase and insert the different levels, the different titles. You want a title for your heading. You also want a title for the that one has a title for the primary axis. You also want a title for the secondary. Hold on. You want a title for the secondary axis. Okay. So whatever this axis is, you can see it goes from -15 to that. So you definitely know you are dealing with GDP growth rate. And this one will be the unemployment rate. And what we have here will be time. So let's add this. So that is time. Give an appropriate title for the chart, and we'll do a last adjustment. The last adjustment is to move this slightly down. You can leave it like that. However, you can see the relationship. Okay, you can clearly see what's going on. I'll let you do your interpretation. But if you want to do some adjustments, let me show you. You can move this down so that it's not touching. So I'll just right click, go to format axis. And then if I come here, let's see the label next to axis. Let me click on that. Click here to make sure I can scroll and really see what's there. Okay, I click there so that I can scroll and come here. So the level position, I'll click there, and then I want to take low. I'll click on low, then it sends it there. Now, if you do that, just make sure it doesn't come and mess up what you have there. Okay, if it's messing up your legend, then you go to where you have legend, and you can move your legend somewhere else. Okay, left, right, it's up to you. So if I put it on the top, then it's not messing it up, and that's it. So it's up to you to see if that's worth it. If you don't think it's worth what you are seeing, then you just go back and put things where they were. You don't really need to change it. Okay, so if I come here, I can change it and just put it back next to axis, and then send this one back where it was. So that's basically it. The part you should spend time, make sure you do a good, you discuss, because you can see how I'm going to grade it. Okay, have fun doing that, and by the weekend I'll be posting something for the summative assessment, and I'll also post the data, because I'll post it as an Excel file so that you can just double click on the data and have no problems. Have fun.